Today is a very simple, easy worksheet because most of this stuff is already ready for you to put in the equation y equals mx plus b. That is the slope and the y-intercept. It's called slope-intercept form, and you can also find that in your formula chart. Problem number 1 gives you a slope, which is m, so make sure you're writing this down. And they also gave you the y-intercept, which is the b. Okay, in this formula, y equals mx plus b, you have an m, that's the slope, and a b, that's the y-intercept. So slope is your m, and the y-intercept is your b. So once they give you the slope and the y-intercept, it's ready to be put in the equation, which is y equals 1/3 x plus 6. The slope has the x next to it, and the y-intercept does not have an x next to it. And you learned this since intermediate, 8th grade. All right, problem number 5, you have to create an equation just like the back of this worksheet. It says JJ has saved $135. Is this a positive number or a negative number? Positive, because he has that money, okay? That's how much he got in 4 weeks. If he continues to save $30 per week, okay, per week, those are key words that tell you that's the slope. Write that down. Write a linear equation that represents the total amount saved as a function of the number of weeks he's been saving. So for sure I know that this is my slope because it says per week. So I'm going to put that m is 30, and at the bottom I'm going to put per weeks. Okay, is that number increasing or decreasing? Increasing because he is saving it, so it's a positive 30. Okay, positive 30. And I'm just going to put a plus just so you know that it's positive. What is B then? B is the 135 because B is the y-intercept, and that's how much you start with. So if you want to put down right here that that's what he started with, okay, that's always your y-intercept, is how much did you start with? Did you start with a positive number, with a negative number? So this was a positive 135. Okay, so we're going to write the equation. That's going to be y equals 135 plus 30x. Or y equals 30x plus 135. Either way, I don't care how you write it, they're both right. Questions? Problem number 6, you need to pick some pretty points. So here's a pretty point, here's another pretty point, here's another pretty point. So the easy way would be to put these points in a table and put it in stat. Okay, and get the equation. That's easy. So the first point is 0, 4. Second point is 2, 1. And the third point is 4, negative 2. Okay, you put that in stat calc 5, and that gives you the equation, it gives you the slope, and it gives you the y-intercept. Now, let's do it an easier way. And some of you get this way, and some of you don't get this way. B is the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept in this graph? 4. Y-intercept is 4, and that's your B. So you can figure out the rest of these. Those would be easy. And then the slope is the rise over run. How much do you go up? How much do you go over? Or how much do you go down? And how much do you go over? You went down 3. That's a negative 3. And you go over 2. So the slope is negative 3 over 2. But if you would have put this in stat, this table in stat calc 5, it would have gave you the equation, which is the same thing. It would give you y equals negative 1.5x plus 4. You turn this to a fraction, math inner, and that gives you y equals -3 half x plus 4. So either way, you would have gotten the correct answer. So if you like doing stat to get the equation, then do stat. If you're very good at rise over run, then just write the equation using rise over run. On the back sheet, they start you off with a scenario. Okay, and you have to write the equation down, put in y equals, and do all that stuff to see if these statements are true or false. So it says that the basketball team started with a budget of $600. So they started with, so that's my y-intercept. Is it a positive number or a negative number? Positive number. So y equals positive $600 that they started with. What else? Throughout the season, the team uses money from the budget to buy basketballs that cost $25 each. That's another key word that means it's the slope. But is the money getting bigger or is it getting smaller? Smaller because they're using the money. So that's a negative $25 each. So minus 25x. X represents the number of basketballs bought and Y is the amount of money left in the budget. Use this information for the statements below. So again, you're going to mark an X if it's false, and you're going to justify it, and you're going to put a check mark if it's a true statement. So you're going to go down the list, see if it's true or false. If it's false, you're going to put an X, and you're going to write down Y over here. Why is it false? If you have any questions, just raise your hand or talk to your partner.